So the Oakland Athletics' most recent World Series loss was in the year 1990. And in 1990, of course, the A's were the defending champs. They won in 1989, but they got swept to the Cincinnati Reds. And of course, this is the Reds' most recent World Series win. And the A's lost. And in this one, the MVP of the series for Cincinnati, Jose Rijo. This World Series pretty easy for the Reds. Yep. And in this one, they were sort of the underdog. I mean, the A's had 103 games that season. Like I said, they were the defending champs, but the Reds figured them out and won all 4 games. So, that was pretty much it. Game 1. And this one was in Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. The Reds won 7-0 and handled the Athletics easily. Dave Stewart on the mound with the loss, and Jose Rijo, MVP, got the win for the Cincinnati Reds. He pitched really good in this game. With 7 innings pitched, only 7 hits allowed, 5 strikeouts. He just really figured out the A's, shutting them out in Game 1 of the World Series. It just really showed that statement that the Reds were making en route to their World Series win. Ricky Henderson for the A's, he did good in this one. He had 3 hits, but that was really it. The A's just got shut out. Dave Stewart with the loss, not super impressive game from him, as the Reds scored 7 runs in the first 5 frames. Now in Game 2, the Reds won in extra innings in 10 games. This one very well could have been an Athletics victory, but no, the Reds won. And similar to 1988, although the Athletics were the better team by record, the seeding was different. So back then, in terms of who hosted more World Series games, so the Reds hosted Game 1 and Game 2. Dennis Eckersley was credited with the loss. Rob Dibble got the victory, and the Reds walked it off in the 10th inning. This was a very high, energy game with 24 hits combined between both teams. For the Athletics, once again, a good game for Ricky Henderson, Mark McGwire, Dave Henderson as well, and Jose Canseco. Jose Canseco had a home run in this game, and Ron Hassey also had a good game with an RBI. It was a sac fly. For the Reds, they won it with a really good game from Barry Larkin. Barry Larkin had 3 hits. Billy Hatcher had 4 hits. And the Reds, they got the game done. I mean, Eckersley, he kind of choked in this game, allowing that game-winning run. And the Reds took Game 2 over the A's. So at this point, they have the momentum. They're up 2-0 in the series. And, that's just kind of how it was. The A's, of course, were very talented team in 88 and 90, but in both World Series, they just couldn't finish games off. So that was sort of just how things went. But yeah, the A's, couldn't win this one. A lot of Hall of Famers in this series. The Reds, Barry Larkin was their only Hall of Famer. The A's had multiple. But, the Reds, very much a scrappy team in this one. So they also had to overcome, playing teams that were better than them sometimes in the playoffs. So it was interesting. But yeah, so that's what happened in Game 2. The Athletics lost. Of course, they would also lose Game 3. This time the Reds won by a final score of 8-3. This one was in Oakland this time. Tom Browning got the victory. Mike Moore got the loss for the A's. Reds had 14 hits in this game and 7 runs in the 3rd inning. That's all they really needed to win this. I mean, they had 8 runs in the first 3 innings. So that's kind of how things went. Barry Larkin had a good game, and Chris Sabo with 3 RBIs as well. He had a very big role in this series. The Athletics, just not really a good game for them. In this series, they just didn't look that good. Much different than the 1989 World Series, where they were winning every game. This one was, the opposite. They had to use a lot of pitchers, and they sort of couldn't get reliable outcomes from even some of their best pitchers. So they lost Game 3. And, that was 8-3 final score. It was very much a quick-moving series. I mean, it was only in 4 days, and it was 4 games. Obviously, that wouldn't happen now, but, with scheduling. But it was just sort of like a World Series. I feel like it's forgotten by a lot of people because, it was the Reds, and it was just not really super prominent in the history because it wasn't super close. The A's, they had to overcome beating the Red Sox, but they did sweep them in the ALCS. In the NLCS, the Reds beat the Pirates, so that would have been a really good series for them. And they had momentum coming into this. The Reds were also coached by Lou Piniella, so that was definitely interesting. But the Reds, they just knew how to defeat the A's, and that's how they won this one. So anyways, in Game 3, like I said, the Reds won 8-3, and the A's are down and embarrassingly 3-0 in the series heading into Game 4. And this game was close as well. It could have gone either way. The A's had the lead through pretty much 7 innings. They scored 1 in the first, and then all the way until the 8th, they had the lead 1-0 until the Reds broke open the game in the 8th with 2 runs. Jose Rijo got the win, Dave Stewart with the loss, so similar to game 1. And Rijo, of course, with the MVP after this one. But Dave Stewart pitched the entire game, and he pitched pretty well, with a 2.17 ERA. But, of course, allowing those runs late. Only one was earned, really won the game for the Reds. And Jose Rijo, good game as well, only allowing that 1 run and nothing else. So that was definitely interesting. But yeah, the Reds, they clinched the World Series title. Of course, they were a very good team and of the 70s. And of course, now in this era, they were pretty good. So, it was definitely interesting to see them play. But yeah, I mean, for the Reds in this game, they had a good game from Herm Winningham, who had 2 hits. And I mean, it was very much a low scoring game. The A's only had 2 hits in this game, although they had, they were in contention for this game. But, they were down 3-0 in the series. So there was really a lot of hope lost. But the Reds won the World Series. The A's would lose. And this was their most recent World Series appearance. And, of course, the most recent loss as well. So, yeah, that's going to do it for 1990. The A's lost to the Reds in the 1990 World Series, 4-0. And Athletics haven't been since. It's been 32 years at this point. And unfortunately, the A's, just haven't made it back. But, it was an interesting World Series, although the A's did lose. So, yeah, anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on this World Series. It was definitely interesting. We're going to move on to the next team to talk about now. And, yeah, so let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys later. And, yeah, go A's.